The recycled fabric samples spread across my tiny Brooklyn studio looked nothing like the luxury fashion my family expected from a Parsons graduate. That was exactly the point. Seriously, Maya? My cousin Victoria wrinkled her perfect nose at my latest collection. Recycled fishing nets? Organic cotton? This isn't what real designers do. I continued, pinning a dress made from innovative biodegradable silk. Real designers innovate, Victoria. The fashion industry is one of the world's biggest polluters. Someone has to change that. She laughed, adjusting her designer handbag, probably made in some sweatshop she'd never think about. No one cares about eco-fashion, sweetie. They want luxury. Status. Not. She gestured dismissively at my workshop, hemp and recycled plastic. If she'd bothered to look closer, she might have noticed the revolutionary textile technology I'd developed. Fabrics that felt like luxury but left no environmental footprint. Designs that could compete with any high-end brand while staying true to sustainable principles. We'll see, I said quietly. Mom's worried about you, Victoria continued. All that talent, all that education, and you're making clothes from trash. There's still an assistant position open at her design house. I didn't mention that her mother's prestigious design house was bleeding money, still clinging to fast fashion while consumers increasingly demanded sustainability. I definitely didn't mention that 3 major retailers had already approached me about my innovative textiles. I'm good here, I replied. She sighed dramatically. Well, don't say we didn't try to help when you're still running this little eco-experiment in 5 years. My phone buzzed, probably another text from my mother about wasting my potential. Instead, it was an email from Sarah Chin, CEO of Nordstrom. Incredible presentation. Ready to discuss exclusive partnership. Meeting tomorrow 9 a.m. I smiled, thinking of Victoria's dismissive sneer. Tomorrow would change everything. The next morning, I stood in Nordstrom's corporate headquarters, my sustainable collection displayed on sleek mannequins. Each piece showcased what the fashion industry claimed was impossible: true luxury made with zero environmental impact. Maya Singh. Sarah Chin extended her hand warmly. Your textile innovation is remarkable. How did you develop these materials? 3 years of research, I replied. Testing every sustainable option, creating new combinations, refusing to compromise on either quality or environmental impact. She nodded, running her fingers over a gown made from my signature recycled silk. The feel is incredible. Luxury buyers would never guess this was sustainable. That's the point, I said. Eco-fashion doesn't have to mean sacrifice. It just needs innovation. The meeting lasted 4 hours. By the end, I had an exclusive contract worth $50 million, with full creative control and a commitment to sustainable practices. As I left the building, my phone buzzed. Victoria's name flashed on the screen. Maya, darling, she trilled. Just heard something interesting about you and Nordstrom. What's this about a sustainable line? I thought about all the times she'd mocked my trash fashion, all the family events where she'd showcased her mother's designs while dismissing my work. You'll see it at Fashion Week, I replied simply. Fashion Week. She laughed. Sweetie, that's for real designers. Like me, I cut in. Opening show. Nordstrom's backing my full collection. The silence that followed was worth every dismissive comment, every condescending smile, every family dinner spent defending my vision. That night, I stood in my studio, my real studio now, not the tiny Brooklyn space where I'd started. The Nordstrom contract had included a full manufacturing facility dedicated to sustainable production. My phone kept buzzing. Victoria's mother, my Aunt Regina, had called 6 times. The same aunt who'd refused to even look at my designs last year was now desperate to discuss collaboration opportunities. Finally, I answered one call. My father. Your mother told me about Nordstrom, he said quietly. This is extraordinary, Beta. Why didn't you tell us what you were really working on? I thought about all the times I'd tried to explain my vision, only to be met with concerns about career stability and practical choices. I did tell you, Dad, I replied. You just weren't listening. The next 6 months transformed everything. My sustainable textile technology revolutionized luxury fashion. Major brands scrambled to catch up, but my patents and Nordstrom's backing kept us ahead. Victoria's Mother's Design House tried to launch a green collection, but consumers saw through the greenwashing. They wanted real sustainability, not marketing gimmicks. Then came the invitation that changed everything: New York Fashion Week's opening show. I stood backstage watching my collection come to life. Each piece told a story of innovation, of refusing to accept that luxury and sustainability couldn't coexist. The lights dimmed, music pulsed, and then magic. Models walked the runway in designs that defied every rule of eco-fashion. Evening gowns made from recycled materials that shimmered like starlight. Suits crafted from innovative biodegradable fabrics that felt like the finest wool. Accessories created from ocean plastic that rivaled any luxury brand. In the front row I saw my family. Victoria, her expression a mix of shock and envy. My Aunt Regina, frantically taking notes. My parents, finally understanding what I'd been trying to tell them for years. The show ended to thunderous applause. Vogue called it revolutionary. WWD declared it the future of fashion. But the real victory came in the orders, $300 million in the first week. 3 months later, I sat in my office overlooking Manhattan, reviewing expansion plans. My assistant, Zara, appeared with the latest sales reports. "We've hit $3.4 billion in global sales," she announced. And Victoria's resume just came in. Again. I smiled, remembering her mockery of my little eco-experiment. "File it with the others," I said. We both knew I wouldn't hire her, not because of the past but because she still didn't understand the vision. That evening my mother called. "I saw your interview in Elle," she said softly. "About changing the industry's environmental impact. I never understood before." "I know," I replied. "But you understand now. That's what matters." The next morning, I visited a fashion design class at Parsons, my old school. Students crowded around as I displayed my latest innovations. "They'll tell you sustainable fashion can't be luxury," I told them. "They'll say consumers won't pay for eco-friendly designs. They'll insist you have to choose between ethics and success." I held up a piece of my revolutionary fabric. "They're wrong. The future of fashion isn't about choosing between luxury and sustainability. It's about creating luxury because of sustainability." After the class, a young designer approached me, clutching sketches of sustainable designs. "Everyone says it's just a trend," she said quietly, "that no one will buy eco-fashion long-term." I smiled, remembering my own doubts. "Want to know a secret? That's exactly what they told me. Want to prove them wrong together?" Her eyes lit up. By the end of the day, she was my newest design intern. The fashion industry was changing faster than anyone had predicted. Major brands scrambled to adopt sustainable practices. Fast fashion companies faced boycotts. Consumers demanded transparency about environmental impact. My phone buzzed. "Victoria again." "Hiya, please," she began. "Mother's company is struggling. We need your expertise." "In sustainable fashion?" I asked. "The same sustainability you mocked for years." "We were wrong," she admitted. "You changed everything." "No," I corrected her. "Consumers changed everything. I just gave them what they really wanted: beautiful fashion they could feel good about wearing." A week later, I stood on stage at the Fashion Innovation Summit. The audience was packed with the same industry leaders who'd once dismissed sustainable fashion as a niche market. They said eco-friendly clothes wouldn't sell, I began. They said luxury required excess, that sustainability meant sacrifice. But here's what they didn't understand. True luxury isn't about waste. It's about innovation, about creating something extraordinary while respecting our planet. In the front row, I saw my former professors, the ones who'd supported my vision when everyone else doubted. They nodded as I continued. The future of fashion isn't about choosing between style and sustainability. It's about refusing to accept that we can't have both. After the speech, Sarah Chin approached me. "The board wants to expand our partnership. Exclusive worldwide distribution, your own boutiques in every major city." I thought about it. On one condition: we maintain complete control over sustainable practices. No compromises. "Agreed," she said immediately. "Your vision was right all along." That night, I walked through my original Brooklyn studio, now transformed into an innovation lab for sustainable textiles. Young designers worked on new eco-friendly materials, each one determined to push the boundaries of what fashion could be. My phone buzzed with another text from Victoria. Saw your collection in Vogue. Finally understand what you meant about innovation. I was wrong. I looked at my reflection in the window, remembering the young designer who'd started experimenting with recycled materials 3 years ago. She'd been right all along. The next morning, I reviewed designs for our new flagship store on Fifth Avenue, right next to the luxury brands that had once dismissed sustainable fashion as impossible. Zara brought in the latest innovation reports. The new biodegradable sequin technology is ready for testing. And that environmental fashion school you wanted to start? The board approved full funding. I smiled, thinking of all the young designers who would now have the support I'd had to fight for. Let's change the industry again. If you've ever been told your vision was impossible, if you've ever stood alone believing in something others couldn't see, remember this. Sometimes the most powerful kind of fashion is the kind that changes more than just how we look. Keep innovating. Keep believing. Keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Because sometimes the best response to "it won't sell" is to create something so extraordinary that it transforms not just an industry but the world itself. Subscribe for more stories about revolutionary vision, about proving doubters wrong, about creating success that matters. Because every breakthrough starts with someone daring to imagine something better. And sometimes, the most fashionable thing you can do is refuse to accept that style and sustainability can't coexist. The future of fashion isn't about choosing between luxury and responsibility. It's about proving that true luxury means having both.